Well, hi, everybody. Hope you had a great holiday, and unfortunately, we're back. I know when I'm speaking for me and the rest of the people in the company, Steve and Scott, all of us, we wish, hope all of you had a tremendously Merry Christmas. We hope those among you who are Jewish had a Happy Hanukkah. And especially, we'd like to wish to our African-American friends a very happy Schwanzaa. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the outgoing Speaker of the House of Representatives, Miss Nancy Pelosi.
And wish everyone a happy, healthy, and safe New Year. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy Schwanzaa. Happy Hanukkah. Whatever it is you celebrate, be safe.
Okay, guys. So just when you think it couldn't get any worse, that is thinking things couldn't get any worse is a habit I'm getting out of very quickly. We had, sometimes we see things that are just so creepy. We attach them to the cringeometer, and this one just made the machine just explode. Here is the Vice President of the United States and her tremendously dynamic husband talking in a completely unscripted, impromptu manner about the joys of growing up in their favorite holiday season.
Hello, everyone, and happy Kwanzaa. Doug and I send our warmest wishes to all of you this holiday season.
During Kwanzaa, we celebrate the history and heritage of the African American community and the African diaspora.
Growing up, Kwanzaa was always a special time. We came together with generations of friends and family and neighbors. There were never enough chairs, so my sister and I and the other children would often sit on the floor, and together we lit the candles of the Kinara, and then the elders would talk about how Kwanzaa is a time to celebrate culture, community, and family. And they, of course, taught us about the 7 principles. My favorite principle was always the second, Kujichagulia, self-determination, the power to design your own life and determine your own future. And it is a deeply American principle, one that guides me every day as Vice President.
To everyone celebrating, we hope your week is filled with love and light. From our family to yours, Happy Kwanzaa.
Well, I don't know about you, but it brought a tear to my eye. Wasn't big enough to see on camera, but nevertheless, that kind of display of raw emotion and authenticity is the kind of thing that makes you able to connect with voters. I have to tell you, guys, I was enthralled watching the clip. I couldn't take my eyes off it. I was trying to decide whether the vice president or her husband was the most wouldn't read. And this was a neck and neck thing. It was like, oh, no, she's got it. No. And he makes a big comeback at the end. This didn't even look like this didn't even look like the kind of emotion that you might put into, receiving a Christmas card from your relative every year. Right, Steve? I mean, it was so rote and so predictable and so bland and so shallow and so Kamala, right? I mean, really.
I got to disagree with you on one thing. I thought I can never remember the second gentleman's actual name. He's such a non-entity that his name, I just read it this morning. I just typed it this morning and it's gone from my brain again just a few hours later. So whatever the hell his name is, he is the worst of the two on reading the teleprompter. Just like anything else, reading a teleprompter is a learned skill. And some people are going to pick it up pretty easily and other people are going to struggle more. And some people are never going to be all that good at it. Number one, it's clear that neither one of them care enough to even try to develop the skill. But he is so wooden that did you notice that when he gave his longest spiel at the beginning, that they moved to a 3/4 angle on the camera? Because if he was looking directly at the camera for this longer part of the script, there's no way you would have believed it. So they move the camera to give you kind of, this view.
Burned out the
so it's
photoreceptor.
not so obvious that his eyes are doing this. And it was a really cheap but necessary trick to do this. Also, Kwanzaa was invented in 1966 by what's his name, who later served time for beating women and now makes a very nice living teaching college in Los Angeles. Well, he doesn't just teach college. As I read it on Twitter this morning, he teaches black people to hate America and white people to hate themselves. So that's That's what counts as an educational gig now. He invented Kwanzaa in 1966. Kamala Harris was born in 1964, and Kwanzaa didn't really gain national recognition until the 1990s when Harris was well into her 30s. So when she says that Kwanzaa was a special time in her household as a child, not only is she lying, obviously, but who does she think she's lying to? Like 2% of the population of this country celebrates Kwanzaa. Another thing I love, Kwanzaa was invented by an American out of mostly East Africa traditions, although most African Americans in this country descend from West Africa. So there's nothing genuine here. So why does she bother? It's not that she does it so badly. Why does she do it at all?
That's the thing, Scott. It's like the bywords of this entire administration seem to be cynicism and tone deafness. They just keep doing things that they believe on some script that was written in some university somewhere. They have to acknowledge this is clearly watching that clip. It's not like Kamala Harris had any memories of Kwanzaa. If she did, she wouldn't need the teleprompter. So they did it. Steve already pointed out the relative insignificance of the target audience, but the target audience isn't the number of Black Americans that celebrate Kwanzaa. No. The target audience for that was the number of rich white liberals who think you should be celebrating Kwanzaa. That's who she's talking to.
Thank you. That's what I couldn't figure out.
Yeah, and I think that for whatever reason, this vice president doesn't seem to understand that if she just really was honest with people, she doesn't have to be connected to everything. Like if Christmas at her house was Christmas instead of Kwanzaa, that's okay. You don't even have to. You don't even have to share the personal reflection if you don't want to. You could say, "Hey, to all Americans, whether you're celebrating, Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or however, if you're from India and you do something different or whatever, however your family is enjoying these holidays, we feel honored to be here in your service and hope you have a blessed time." Like she doesn't have to get into the nitty-gritty details of something that at least the way she says it doesn't seem real. Now, what's really scary here is maybe that really happened and she can't even convey natural human emotion behind something that actually occurred.
That's more of that's more like Hillary Clinton's kind of purview,
But can you remember when you were a kid and you said, oh man, what do you remember about Christmas? Oh, it's just like the lights and the magic of Christmas morning and the lecture about the 7 principles. It's like, how did they manage to turn this beautiful time of year into a lecture series?
Because it's what they do, right? It's all a lecture. Everything that comes out of the left is a lecture. And by the way, as the vice president so emotionally and authentically pointed out, it's the second principle that is the one that most moves the hearts of Americans, which, according to her in the clip, is the idea of self-reliance and independence.
Yes.
Precisely the qualities that their administration are trying to eliminate throughout the entire culture.
Well, that was my favorite part of the clip was I'm like, yes, self-reliance, training people, raising people up so that they can do for themselves, obviously in conjunction with other people, because you always do everything with other people, but to develop that sense of I can do it. And she said, this has been so important to me. And I'm like, well, how about
self-reliance? How
about sharing a little of that with the rest of us? Like, isn't it important to us too?
Mark my words. At somewhere near the end of the second term of the Harris administration, you will hear her and her husband again talking about Kwanzaa, and they will reflect upon how deeply they revere the 6 principles of Kwanzaa. Mark my words. For Steve Green and Scott Ott, I'm Bill Woodall, just about as cynical and nasty as I was before the holidays, but Merry Christmas to all of you out there. Happy New Year coming up. And Kamala, again, just let's just do it again.